Happy Friday. Welcome to my channel. My name is Orly and this is the DIY Designer. I'm doing my intro in an unusual spot because I actually just wrapped the Today Show. You can see I've got my setup. I did fun frame ideas. Jenna and Hoda are here to party. You know. Now, pretty much everything that could have gone wrong did in fact go wrong. It was a bit of a cluster and a lot of embarrassing moments. Not feeling super good about it. If you do not care about this story and you want to fast forward to our killer kick-ass heels, fast forward a minute or two. If you do care and you want to indulge in the embarrassment that was my morning, stay tuned. So this is the deal. When you do a remote segment with the Today Show, it is like a delicate symphony of multiple devices and Wi-Fi. Therein lies the problem. So what they do is they FaceTime you. The footage from the FaceTime will become your feed. So that was my brother. We used his cell phone connected to FaceTime. That's thing one. Thing two, I had a laptop set up that was connected via Skype. That Skype feed was my return so that I could visually see what was happening in the show because I needed to voice over some of the B-roll that I sent them and all that stuff. Ben has a cell phone in his pocket with hardwired headphones connected to the control room so that the director can communicate with him and say like, hey, pull back wide, zoom in on that, can we get a little closer, yada, yada, yada. Then I have AirPods, which are connected to Ben's cell phone, which is the show feed. I'm hearing it, you're hearing me, and that's what's supposed to happen. All relying on what I now know is my very weak Wi-Fi. We're about to do the segment. They're doing a segment with Jason Mraz, and they're like, hey, you're up in about a minute. We're having some tech issues. Like, they're trying to like keep it cool. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, everything's ready to go, and we're having tech issues like 40 seconds before we go live. So they say, turn off the FaceTime because that's not working, and your Skype feed actually looks pretty good. We're going to switch over to the Skype feed. While they're communicating this with me, and I'm sitting here going, they go to my tease, which is when they'll say like, next up, Orly Shani is here with some great ways to repurpose all your photos, right? And I'm supposed to go like, hey, like and hold up a picture. They throw to that without telling me, and then I see myself out of the corner of my eye on the feed, which means I'm on TV, and I go like this. However, they had already cut the FaceTime feed and used the Skype feed. So I went from this, listening, to not looking at the camera, not looking at anybody really, just looking like a psycho off to the corner. It was so bad and so embarrassing that for the Central Time Zone and Pacific Time Zone, they cut it and put in B-roll of my project as a favor for my awkwardness. So that was a great way to start. Then we go to commercial break and they're like, we're going to commercial break. We're set to the Skype. So sorry about the tease. Don't worry about it. It's all going to be fine. He's going to man the Skype. Problem with the Skype, this doesn't have a forward-facing camera. No, he can't film me like this. This is the camera. So now Ben is filming me blind. He's holding it like this. This camera is filming me and he's going like this, trying not to get in the camera, trying to see, make sure he's level, and he's going like this, moving around. Next thing that went real freaking wrong is we didn't have time to switch my AirPods from the cell phone to the laptop. So the laptop is recording the sound off the internal mic off a moving frickin' target. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. And the only thing that will make me feel better are pretty chain heels. So for those of you that didn't listen to the story, welcome back to the DIY Designer. Let's get into this DIY. We're going to make these awesome heels. And the reason I actually recommend DIYing them and not buying them, even if you had the money, is because they are totally interchangeable, totally versatile, and totally temporary if you DIY them. I'm gonna show you guys how you can actually loop something through that makes it interchangeable. So if you wanted to do a big, chunky, oversized chain one day, you wanna take them out and do a silk tie, you wanna take it out and do leather fringe straps, it can totally be swappable. So really it's like 5 shoes in one. All that you need are a pair of heels where the ankle strap is detachable. So that's the only thing that you're really gonna need. Other than that, let's do it. Let's do it because it's fantastic. All right, so here are my black heels. You can see super simple black heels. You just want to start with something that you love. Any color will do, but make sure that the ankle strap is something that can easily slide right out. This is what makes the entire thing come together. Slide that sucker out and you're pretty much halfway there. You can see it's an opening and we're gonna fit this extra large chunky chain. Now I got this chain at Joann's, super simple, lightweight plastic, and it pulls apart and connects really easily. So what you're gonna do is take one chain link off, and with that one chain link, you're going to feed it through the opening, and it basically creates like an anchor, like something for you to hook everything onto. Now, even as you decide to swap out different chains, different straps, you can always keep these here if you want. They sort of act as a little detail that everything can be attached to. But in this case, we're going to attach the actual matching chain to it. So you're just going to bend it and put it on. Wrap it around your ankle until you figure out the right amount of chain you need to wrap around your ankle comfortably. I think that was about like 8 chain links. So once I had one set, I just counted it out and did the same for the other. So basically they're both attached, and we will put our closures on in a minute. Now it was time to figure out how many to do across the foot. For me, I figured about 5 was good. 4 or 5, you want about an inch of plain black on either side. You don't want the chain to go all the way to the side. You want it to be about an inch in. And what I decided to do here was actually stitch it down, just a simple needle and thread, because if I do get over this and I want to swap it, all it is a simple snip of a few of those stitches and it comes right off. No glue, nothing to mess with, nothing to peel. It really does make it super, super versatile. Once you stitch it on, you're gonna do the same thing as you normally would, and you're just gonna knot off the stitch, hiding it on the inside. Now, fold it over the other side and pull it really snug and do the same thing. Again, you're gonna come up and just make sure that you grab your chain just like that and kind of pull it taut. That way it's gonna stay in place and no glue will be needed. It was right around now when I was stitching it down that I looked at it and realized I didn't line my chain up straight. You can see there's some rounded edges and straight edges, rounded edges and straight. I wanted them all to face the exact same direction. So I just simply snipped it, and again, that's what you would do if you decided you wanted to change your chain anyway. And right now I'm just flipping them so that they're all in the right direction. And you can see there, now all the curved parts are on the bottom and all the straight parts are on the top. Now you're just gonna go in, stitch it, secure it, and basically the toe part of this is done. Now it was time to pick my hardware, so I grabbed one piece of the chain and I headed to Joann's and I went to the jewelry section. I'm looking not only for a closure that's gonna be easy to use, that's about the right size, but also the right tone, right? There's a lot of different tones of gold, so I definitely recommend bringing your charm or your chain, with you so you can match it. Next, I was looking for jump rings. I didn't find the big heavy duty ones that I wanted, so I grabbed these more like skinny lightweight ones, and actually I don't recommend doing that. That's one change I would make, is I would get big, fat, strong jump rings. But the technique is the same. So take your jump ring with 2 pliers and open it just like a little door. You're going to hook it onto the end of your chain and grab whatever closure that you bought. I got little lobster claws, and you're gonna hook it on. Now, grab your pliers again and close the door. This will hook the lobster claw to the end of the chain, basically turning it into a built-in anklet. You can see this is what it looks like. Now, one more thing I'd recommend doing is if you're using a chain like I have, I actually would glue up the seams. Right there, you can barely see it, but I glued up that opening in the chain. That way the jump ring, when I actually go to hook it on, it won't just slide through that opening. I kind of sealed it up, and basically everything was done and good to go. We're done, you guys. As you can see, it's super easy. The only change that I would make that I'd really recommend is getting your hands on some really good, strong jump rings. You're putting it on like an anklet, you're kind of like pulling it and hooking it. So you want to make sure those jump rings are really strong and they won't pop off. But other than that, I love it. I think they look amazing. They're even better in person, but I will go model them for you now so you can see the vibe. They're really cool. Thanks for being here, you guys. If you enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll subscribe if you aren't already. And if you are subscribed, maybe share it with a friend. Screenshot your phone, post it on your social, send it to someone that you think would love it. I would appreciate that so much. Okay, you guys, have a beautiful week. I love you. Thanks for being here.
It's not like we're still 22, trying something new, just a pastime. I don't think that we ever could work this out. None of it makes sense, there's no reason why I still fall back to you. Should probably let you go. I know I can't, but